Hello and welcome to the UK Surf Show. We are your hosts. I'm Pete.
And I'm Mitch, and on today's episode we speak to Gearoid.
I think it's Gearoid. See, we had this whole conversation. This is why you call him G-Man.
This is why I call him G-Man.
Even he said about his name though before. He was like, "Yeah, nobody gets it. Don't worry about it."
I'm pretty confident it's Gearoid. But anyway, we speak to Gearoid McDaid, or G-Man, as you might know him. Irish big wave surfer, surfs Mullimore, just stupid waves. Super nice dude. And it was a really fun chat. We kicked off the Lost Shore edition and got to watch him charge some absolute barrels. And let's just get straight into it.
Press record. It's always important.
Yeah.
And we normally start these by saying you introduce yourself, but I'm going to say Englishman, Irishman, and Scottishman sat down for a podcast.
Hey! He's been thinking about that forever.
I've been thinking of that since I started. If you want to introduce yourself, and we'll go from there.
My name's Gearoid McDaid. I'm a professional surfer from Ireland. So yeah, cheers for having me.
No, it's been a pleasure. We've been wanting to get you on for some absolute time, and it so happens you're here at sunny Lost Shore Surfing Resort. You brought the sun with you.
Well, usually when you leave going places from Ireland, you usually bring the rain with you. But I suppose you can't bring much more rain over here. So
yeah. And, are you over here just to surf, or what's crack?
Yeah, I just came over for a little trip to check out, have good time at the pool. Been injured for the last couple of months, so it's kind of good place to come back and rehab, getting back into surfing too. So
I've never thought about it like that. Actually, it's quite an interesting way to do it. Because I guess you don't know if you're going to go paddle out on a small mully day.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're going to get, do you?
It is like that. Like the last couple of days, I started surfing again at home, and then you don't have that confidence or just the repetition that you get out here, and you're like, that kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know how far you can push it when you're coming back from an injury. You're not. Yeah. It's kind of like, am I able to surf? Am I not always? So getting repetitions out here, being able to push it and see how far you can push it each time, it's a pretty good one actually.
I do wonder actually, and I'm confident most people listening definitely know who you are and the waves you surf. For our distinctly average rubbish ability,
just use yourself for that.
Compared to the level you surf at, do you have a bit of when you've had a bit of time out the water, do you have the same sort of mindset as probably everyone else is like, fuck, I've not surfed for ages, can I still surf, can I still make it out, can I still do what I was doing before? Do you go through that process in your head? Or
I guess I don't go through I have definitely a process of coming back from an injury, how far you can push it, say if the waves are big and that kind of stuff. The other day I was surfing the peak all day, and then so I kind of jumped up, and it was kind of a big enough session at Pampa, and I was like, I didn't really want to go and push. I feel like I could have done it, but I was like, I don't want to go push it straight away out to a big heavy wave. So you definitely have those thoughts of thinking about re-injuring yourself and stuff like that, just kind of thing.
Is that based on the wipeouts, not the paddling in and that sort of stuff, or is it?
Well, my first couple of surfs with my arm was about paddling, but after a surf or two I knew I can paddle. The surf fitness goes pretty quick, but it also comes back quick enough. I had a couple of surfs there, and the fitness came back after a couple. But the first one or two, it was a bit tiring.
I heard from that, in answer to your question, basically, no.
No. Grow up, get a grip of your body.
I find this thing of people who excel in skateboarding, surfing, different sorts of, call them extreme sports if you want, but people who excel in that have that mindset. It's like when we were speaking to Ben Skinner, I don't want to think about the bad wipeouts, I don't think about this, it's just a single track thought. Do you tend to have that with surfing as well? Definitely.
I've had surfs and sessions in big waves that you kind of do think about. You're like, oh, what if that happened, what if that happened, especially when you've had injuries and you're coming back. But then the best surfs you have are the ones where you don't think about it. You're just out there. So many times I've had a crazy wave and I'm like, whoa, I barely remember it, because it was just you don't even think about it at all. It's mad. You're definitely, those days are the ones that you're most confident you're not in your head.
And let's go back to the start. You've done pretty well for yourself in surfing. Where did it all begin for you?
Yeah, so I started surfing when I was My dad got me into it like when we were super young, like 4 or 5. Brought like us out to the beach once or twice every summer, just like pushing us in on bodyboards and stuff. And then, kind of from the summer, from when I was 10, kind of started realizing that I liked it and like asking my dad to bring me out all the time. And that summer I surfed every day. Then that was the first winter we surfed like pretty much any time before or after school, or every time on the weekends if there was waves, and just continued on from then. And yeah, pretty much I used to play every sport until that, and then all of a sudden just quit everything. And
changes
It's
your
funny
life.
how often we've heard that.
Surfing's a trap. Don't get into it.
It fully is.
That same thing of like a lot of people. I used to play loads of sports and then found surfing, and that was it. So did you grow up close to the beach, close enough to the beach you could get there and surf all the time then?
So 10-15 minute drive from the beach. Like in Sligo town, my beach is Strand Hill, so like 10-minute drive, 15-minute drive.
What's Strand Hill like to surf for? No one's surfed there before.
It can get really good. Like it's kind of a lot of times this breaks like a reef. Like it's you say it's a beach, but the sand's pretty much gone all the time.
Sand's made out of rock.
Yeah, it's literally just boulders everywhere, and like creates these like reef, like point breaky things. Like I surfed day before yesterday, and it was literally like a right point break, like every single wave. And it's a sick beach, and it does get bad and get good depending on the banks, but it's a sick place to grow up.
What was the sort of surf community like when you started? Was it big, or was it kind of just your old man and you?
It was actually really good in Strand Hill. Like I was lucky. My age group, there was me and one other guy. Aaron O'Hare was his name. And we grew up surfing together from 10 years old, and we surfed every day. But we were super lucky that there was a crew of like 14 to 18 year olds, like probably like 10 of them, they're all bodyboarders.
Right.
And we kind of just started hanging out with them because we were at the beach every day. And then that kind of pushed you because you're hanging out with older people. And then there was another crew above them, like Stephen Kilfetter and Andrew Kilfetter.
Yeah.
They were like the two main guys surfing in Strand Hill at the time and ripping. So like we had these different generations of people to look up to and push ourselves to.
Yeah.
So we were super lucky that they like brought us out and like kind of pushed us more than it. So that's kind of definitely.
It's important to have that, isn't it?
Yeah.
That person pushing you and progressing you. Like I think without that, even with natural ability, like I don't know how far somebody can go without being in a lineup with people going, I want to do that. I want to do what they're doing.
Oh, you need it for sure. Like you see it, like as soon as people start hanging out with people that are older, better, whatever, like they progress so much with all the kids do. Like it's definitely what you need to be doing. If you're there by yourself, it's pretty hard to.
That's why we get worse surfing. We surf with each other. We're bringing each other down all the time.
We do. I mean, that thing you were saying earlier about the injuries from the wave pool, I didn't think about that like the way you did it though. But it's a really good thing that you can just go. Actually, I'm gonna see how I'm coming back in. I got bad shoulder, bad knee, whatever. Do 2 waves, and you can go. Fuck it, I'm not. No, I'm in. But I was in my head. I went off into a whole little story about like paddling out at Mully or something like that, and you get 1 wave, and you're like. Oh fuck! My shoulders there.
I'm not getting back in. So where did it go from? What point did you want to start competing, or what time did you get like good? And did you get a bug quite quickly for that?
I just been the most competitive person in the world ever. Like I was always like in golf, basketball, all the sports that I played. I was super competitive. I always like just loved competing in everything. So it kind of just translated naturally into surfing, and it wasn't something I was like. Oh, I want to compete. I want to be a pro surfer. It just kind of like naturally happened that like I started competing when I was 10, 11 and just kind of started going to the European championships and stuff, started doing pretty good and then started getting some sponsors and stuff like that. So I was just lucky that it was just a natural progression really. And like pretty lucky and pretty stoked that it happened.
No, for sure.
Who are your sponsors at the moment?
Right now, I'm sponsored by Rip Curl, Monster, Bell Surfing, and Bradley Surfboards. Bradley's shaped in the factory over at Bell, so stoked to be a part of it.
How hard is it, without the sponsors? Because I don't know about yourself. Most UK pro surfers are literally back on the tools Monday to Friday to be able to go and fund the next QS, which is probably going to get a round 1 knockout on. How hard is it for you, or how hard would it be without the sponsors to be able to achieve what you do?
Like it's near impossible. Like we're the generation. We're a generation too late. The generation or two before us. That's where the money was. Like, I'm super lucky, but like, I'm not making crazy money. It's enough to keep me surfing and keep me traveling right now. But yeah, the guys, like, I don't know how they do it. Like, they go work when they're back, and then they travel and stuff. And like, I'd struggle to do that. Like, to be able to surf, train, and work all in one is pretty hard. So I'm super lucky right now.
Yeah, I know Logan spoke about it a lot when we had him on the show, and you know how hard it was. Like, his whole working life was just to fund these events. Like, and I think that was why we brought it up, because I think there's a common misconception, certainly in the UK anyway. I
Mm.
think pro surfer, you got to be on, a few $100,000 a year, and like
I've had people say that to me. They were like, "Oh, you must like make like $100,000." I was like, "No."
Like, just look at my trainers.
Like, wow, just about minimum wage. Like, if you add it all up.
But, I mean, you say training then. So what sort of things do you do training outside of surfing? Because like most average people that we speak to, or average surfers, like, I know my training's in the water surfing, but like I think when you get to the next level, you go, yeah, that's not good enough.
You
just
say
for
that
training.
though, but I know a few pro surfers that do
I know, you nearly said as well.
They do nothing. Because I remember asking a mate once, like, what do you actually do for your paddle fitness, and what do you do for this, that, and the other? And he's like, I don't know, I just go down the pub. Like, he does nothing.
I know a lot of I know guys all over the world that don't do any training, and like, I was kind of a part of that. I never trained up until probably I turned 18 and kind of started getting into a little bit, but still not enough. Only in the last probably 4 years maybe since COVID, I started like properly getting into it, and it kind of led from an injury. I like tore something in my hip, and then the only way I could get back was if I trained it right and strengthened it up. So that really got me into it, and kind of just been on since then. You kind of fall in love with the gym then too.
Yeah, true. Yeah. But at that level,
you've got competitiveness. And like, here we go.
At any level of surfing, beginner to pro, training, can make a huge difference. Even if it's just paddle fitness for somebody that's just starting out. But even, like, you'll know more than any of us. Well, I think unless you've been competing recently on the QS, Pete, I think there's more competition on the QS than there is on the CT, because there's only so many spaces. And actually that's the exciting stuff to watch in competition. But it could be the difference between training and not, throwing that little bit of extra spray, being a little bit more critical, in your turns, and obviously your body being able to take it as well. Was it Alan you were training with? Were you training with Alan before?
I started doing some stuff with Alan before, a couple of years ago, and that was at that kind of point where I was starting to get into it, and it was weird. You're kind of scared to go to the gym at the start. It's kind of a weird thing.
You don't want to be too sore to go for a surf like I am right now.
I'm pretty, that kind of did happen too. And then, but once you get into the gym now, I'm like, alright, if the waves are shit, I'll surf once, go to the gym. Whereas it would have been like, I'll surf 3 times. Whereas now it's like, alright, I'll fit in my gym sessions as well, because you do notice the benefit as soon as you get it. And whatever about being stronger, a lot of it is more for injury prevention, like that. When I tore my hip, or like your knees, all that kind of stuff, like that can all be prevented. Those kind of, to an extent of being prevented from training.
I was thinking, like, I never used to bother. I grew up skateboarding for most of my life. Never used to bother. You get an injury and you'd run it off or skate it off or whatever. But I noticed as I'm getting older, the more I get injured, the more I'm like, it just takes more work to get better again now. I'm getting towards that point where I can see people just give up and just go, just give up on everything. That's it, done. I'm done with it. I'm done with a lot.
Where did the waves of consequence start for you? Because I mean, you surf some serious spots.
I guess that kind of started in COVID as well. Like, because I was just...
Oh well, the world's over. He's not coming back.
No, I was like... Obviously, I started, like, I was surfing Molly and Pampa and some of the, like, slabs and stuff around, like, but not to the extent where I, like, really wanted it.
Yeah.
And, like, wanted to push myself out there. And then COVID, because I was competing, traveling non-stop, you'd miss days and all that kind of stuff. But then COVID, I was stuck at home, and we just had a crazy good winter, like pretty much 2 winters in a row. Nobody around, nobody could travel anywhere. So it kind of was just a thing. I was like, all right, well, this is what I'm doing now, and just started really pushing myself in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of just from then on, it's kind of just trying to push to get as big a barrel as you possibly can, really.
Is that what is it? A big barrel you're after, or a big wave?
Nah, yeah, big barrel. Like,
Big barrel.
Fuck, you couldn't. I wouldn't be that bothered with Nazareth.
Fair enough.
Even the words that I wouldn't even think about those words ever coming out of my mouth, let alone actually saying them. But like,
It's funny though, because I go to Portugal for like a swell, and like I'll put up a story or whatever, and I'll have so many people ringing me being like, oh, come to Nazareth, like it's gonna be pumping, like I have a ski there, whatever you want. I'm just like, I'm not arsed. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna go surf a slab down the road, like fuck that.
Would you surf it for surfing its sake?
I do want to do that. I kind of just, I want to surf it just to say it, like just to do it. And I know, the thing is, I know I'll have fun and enjoy it. Like, I'm not saying it's not fun, but like, to me, more the risk versus reward isn't there. Like,
what you want to do, have a chat with Marty, Ben's dad. Like the other day, and I was saying to Marty, I was like, oh, I'd like to go out to Nazareth, just go out on a ski and just have a look. He's like, oh, Ben will take you out. So he's offered Ben to take me out Ben knowing anyway. But what I'm thinking is, if you go, I was chatting to Ben earlier, go, take me out to have a look. You know, you'll go out and have a look. I'll take my board just in case, and you'll be there, and you'll be like, oh, I might as well just have one then. Just do it that way. You'll be fine.
Oh no, I'm like, I'll do it. Like, it's not that I'm scared to do it, but
no,
I am.
I'll do it. But it's just
go out there on the ski, and then you know you're going to do it anyway. Then.
Yeah.
So just
I'll like that's it. I kind of want to do it just to be like, right, I've done it. Because so many people like everywhere in the world be like, geez, you ever surf Nazareth? And I'm like, no, but like, I will if like I kind of want to, but I kind of don't at the same time.
See, if my Airbnb was within 20 miles of Nazareth, I wouldn't even go for a fucking shower just in case a rogue set found me. Like, I would not want to be near it. And actually, we were chatting to a mate of mine the other day, Craig. He's been on the show before, and he's always at Nazareth. He loves Nazareth, right? And he's got this dream to surf Nazareth. Like, it's one of the things on his list. He's not a big wave surfer, but he surfs big waves and he charges. But I was saying, imagine, because we had this conversation about, just for the kudos, being able to say you've surfed it, but you've gone and surfed the beach break, right? So for my comfort level, right, it's probably, I would say I'm encroaching on my comfort level at head and a half. Really, head height's my comfort level, right? And obviously it goes up if I'm surfing bigger stuff all the time, and it's a never-ending sort of scale. But imagine I go surf Nazareth, and it's just a little bit over head and a half. And somebody said, in random conversation, somebody's like, have you ever surfed Nazareth? Would you surf Nazareth? I was like, oh, I surfed it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, have you? How big was it? I was like, oh my God, it was well above my ability. Like, it was heading a bit. Like, you'd be like, what?
People don't even know breaks like that. All the people think is that it's massive. Like,
yeah, no, Ben says the beach break there is
it's mental.
Phenomenal, but also it is like Croyd times 1,000 for how slabby it is. Fuck that.
It's a full little beachy slab. Like, looks pretty. I've never even surfed it like small. Like, every time I've been to Portugal, it's for like a certain wave or swell or something that we're doing, and it just never lined up with the inside.
Did you get well received in Portugal?
Yeah, I mean, as well as you can be. It's pretty. The locals there are hard, but as you do, you're bombarded with traveling surfers non-stop, so you kind of have to be.
It's everywhere though, isn't it? Everywhere's like that. Doesn't matter where you go, there's always somebody traveling.
That's it. Like, and you have like them compared to us with traveling surfers, like they have so much more. So like, I mean, if we had that many people, I'd be the same. Like, you have to make sure you're getting your waves, like people traveling over. So
is that why you took the sand off of your beach?
Where's your kind of go-to? Where is it if you're going to go choose a trip?
In like anywhere
except Lost Shore, obviously. I know that.
I mean, now the more I've traveled, I want to travel to places that aren't as busy, because I really I love traveling, going all these different places, but then I'm like, I travel halfway across the world to surf worse waves than I get at home with more people.
It's amazing how many people say that though. Like, there's something about, I mean, you've got amazing home spots in fairness, but even your sort of home spots that are like, it's okay, but it's still a home spot. You know everyone in the lineup. There's something quite nice about that and familiar.
It's the best.
Definitely. The same thing as that though. Like, even with like Saunton and Westwood Ho, I'd be like, I'll take them on a longboard over anything else really. It's one of those where it's just like, you know, like I'm lucky enough now doing this to surf loads of places with you around the UK. And I'd still go, actually, I love surfing, which is what I'd call home, Saunton and Westwood Ho around there.
When did
that's like, for me, the whole winter is like, I'm staying at home because that's where the best waves are. I'll do trips to like whether Scotland or wherever there's a swell, I'll do a strike if the waves are going to be bad at home.
Yeah.
But like I don't see the reason of traveling during the winter because the waves are so good at home. My traveling is from now until end of September because it's flat. So like I'd rather go chase somewhere in the southern hemisphere when we don't get waves. Cause,
for sure. When did it become a full time for you?
Pretty much when I left school. Like I finished school at 18. Like finished school. It's a bit different. Our schooling's different. We like do your leaving cert, which is essentially A levels, I think, over here. So I finished that, and then I was kind of lucky enough from then. Like I was sponsored by Monster, and a year or two later picked up Rip Curl, and a couple of local companies around home were sponsoring me. So it was like I'm still living at home. My parents were supporting me still, like with that kind of stuff. So I was able to travel and compete nonstop pretty much as soon as I left school. So
how do you find, like I know you said wave pool about like for rehab or anything like that. How do you find surfing a wave pool to surfing in the ocean? Like because I know like everyone that we speak to is like, oh yeah, I prefer the ocean, blah blah blah. But you never get. I've never asked anyone. I don't even think I asked Ben when he was on about it. How you find the difference between surfing the two and what you get out of both differently.
That's a hard question. I like you're never gonna really replace surfing in the ocean. No. Like the feeling and like being able to read the wave and like the length of it. Like in a pool, you're really constricted to what the pool, how big the pool is, how what it offers. But like then like you come to a pool and you have the best time ever. Like here at Lost Shore, like I've been here now 3-4 times and it's still super fun every time you go back out. Like every time you get barreled, it's like this new novelty thing. You're getting barreled in a pool.
Yeah.
But
have you seen the air section?
No, not yet. I really want to have a go on it.
I got some videos of it. I'll show you. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, we might try line that up sometime.
All he's done all morning is show everyone videos of the air section, but everyone he's showing the videos of the air section to were the people who were surfing that wave on that air section last night. Right. They were like, I know, I done it.
Yeah, so I'll be keen to try that out someday.
So what do you think like your potential of learning and improving is on wave pools? How do you, because like I go, actually there's things I've learned from here that I can take back into the ocean, but my levels, well I wouldn't say it's quite at your level, but it's yeah, it's nowhere fucking near it, but like at that level of what you're surfing, what do you take and what do you learn from a wave pool?
It's that repetition. Like you don't have that much repetition in the water. Like when have you ever had an hour surf and caught 25 waves? Yeah. Like in the ocean, never. Like repetition here, and if you have someone videoing you and there is one thing you want to work on, you can work on it, and like you can like get out, rewatch it, go back in, do it again.
Yeah.
And then especially airs, like airs, as you see all the videos around the world, whatever, like airs are progressing like mental because of that repetition of an air section. You can just hit it and hit it and hit it. Yeah. Whereas in the water, in the sea, you might get one every week, and then your landing ratio is pretty low.
Did you see Eto'o's?
Yeah, like that stuff's mental.
The lift on that is stupid.
You're never gonna like. I don't know if you'll ever get a section like that in the sea, because having a section with that much pop and then like a smooth landing is gonna be next to impossible. Like so.
I mean, I've never done an air. I've never attempted. Actually, I did. Actually, I'm lying. I did try and do one once, but what I know I can do is a good Superman eject, and for me that is 50% of an air, because I think one time the board might come with me by chance. I would love to get a shot on that air section.
Yeah, I reckon like if you had a go on it that repetition, you'd probably like anyone can learn airs in a week, I reckon. Like
I love the idea that Dr. Brendan Ferrier that runs Surf Lab here, world's PhD, he's got PhD in aerial surfing, which is insane. I kind of love the idea that we take all our novice surfers with Brendan and just teach them how to do airs and how to pump, and that's it. So we send all these surfers out to comps that are landing airs, but none of them can do a cutback or a turn. I just say that would look insane. And I know it doesn't work like that for the technical biffs out there, but it's still funny.
But like there probably will be a point, somebody that's just growing up in a wave pool somewhere, like that there is no sea, whatever, like there's a couple in the Middle East. Now there's no sea there, like with waves. they just grow up surfing a wave pool, and they probably will be able to do airs better than they're able to do other things.
Yeah, true, yeah.
Because that's just what they
know,
learn.
You are kind of getting, especially if you're a new surfer, you are getting taught some of the things that I think were the arguments against wave pools for a lot of surfers. Like, yeah, but they're going to come on a line up and not understand the rules of the land and all that stuff. But you have to apply etiquette. You sit in the line, you wait your turn. If somebody stacks it in front of you, you don't go. So kind of by default, I think that's in your head. Also, if you're in the ocean and you're waiting every time somebody stacks it, you're never surfing. But still, but I think there is some little nuances in there.
For sure. Learning like that, you're learning the etiquette like way quicker. Like,
yeah.
I was just in my head. I was thinking of someone sat there waiting for the waves to stop so they can get back in. It's actually saying waves to stop to get back in. We've had that before. We've talked about it loads of times when you paddle out to something and you're like, oh fuck, this is big, and we've had that worry to get back in. Do you ever get that still, or do you ever? Are you quite comfortable? What size is your comfortable? What is your comfort level?
I haven't had it like nothing to do with the waves, but there's a couple of spots that I've like surfed and I'm like looking back in like that is gonna be an absolute bastard to get out of. Like you have to like time it perfectly and stuff. Like some waves, like
I know that feeling. Yeah.
Like, well, I don't know. There hasn't like obviously when I was younger, but in a number of years there hasn't been like a day where I'm like, oh, how do I get back in? Like I know I can. So
what's your comfort?
I can stand up on anything, go straight and come in like.
What's your comfort then on like? Is that that two parts to that question then? So first part, if someone does get out in that thing of they're beyond their comfort level and they get back in, that your recommendation just straight back in.
Literally stand up, like just get to your feet and go dead straight. Like I would have. I know it's not as easy. I know it's not going to work all the time, but
and then what is your comfort? What do you feel like you? One, sort of surf best in. Two, what do you feel like when it gets a bit bigger than that? I'm going to start feeling a bit like.
What I surf best in is like if it's like 4 to 6 foot, like 4 to 8 foot, like for turns and barrels. Like I'm like super comfortable and confident anything up to that. And then like after like when it's like 10 foot, you're scared and like obviously you're still gonna try and like you're still gonna go, but and then like then there's days at Molly where there's like 10 to 15 to 20 foot, depending on if you're towing. Because if you're towing, it's kind of you don't see the waves, so you don't see the size of it. There's so many days we've surfed. That I've come out of the water and I've seen the photos and videos and I'm like, holy fuck, that was big. I was like, I'm pretty happy I didn't know it was that big the whole time.
I wouldn't have gone otherwise.
It's like one of those pictures where you see a deer stood there and there's just a lion behind it. It's like, oh, that was behind me.
But like when you're paddling, then you're getting like the gauge of it coming in and stuff. So like, it's different depending on what. But
do you get that same? So if you're towing in to your paddling, because when you're paddling in and a wave goes steep, you get that like whoa, it goes like that. So when you're being towed, you don't get that at all because you're already moving at speed and dropping.
Not really,
I mean,
you're already on your feet, and that's the scariest part when it's big is that commitment, like getting that through your head of just like going. So like towing takes that out, so it makes it a lot easier. Obviously, it's still scary.
So what you're saying is the people that surf Nazway are pussies, really? That's what you said. That's the trailer.
I guess they don't often.
No, because that's the thing. That's what I'd be more scared of drowning at Nazareth than anywhere else. That's probably that's the main thing of it. But like paddling, at like Molly, whatever, or any kind of big slab, that you're like paddling down it, and you're like that. It's that second of hesitation that's gonna destroy you. Yeah. So like, you're just taking that out of the equation, so it makes it easier. Obviously, there's been tow days at like Riley's and stuff that sets have come in and like and I was like, no, I'm not fucking going. That thing is massive, like, but like so it does still have, and you still have that thing, but it just kind of puts it in the back of your head a little bit more.
The thing that terrifies me about tow surfing is the straps and not separating from the toe straps when you go under and your knees buckling the other way.
I've heard that like when we surf Molly, we wear straps on when we're towing, and luckily enough, every time I've fallen with that, I don't think about it. Just the ball goes flying. Yeah. Like I haven't thought about trying to get my feet out of them. It just kind of happens. But I have heard of people. Connor, he was surfing a right, towing in, and one of his foot got stuck in the strap, and he destroyed his knee, like. So it does happen. And then, but a lot of the other slabs that we towed that are like those like super heavy shallow slabs that you can't paddle, they're not essentially the biggest, but they're just super heavy.
Yeah.
Like we don't wear straps. Them, they kind of just ride a normal board and just like that. But yeah.
Seen that picture, like you said, Mully. I think it's Pete Conroy that had a picture of it, and he sent a picture, and just the size of the top of the barrel behind it is like, I don't know, it's like a whole ocean itself just above it. And just like coming out of that and seeing that, it's just like, I don't know, like explain, like for people that are never going to experience it or just seeing photos of it, explain that sort of thing, that feeling of what it's like to go into a barrel like that where like the sunlight disappears and like the noise just quiets and you've got into a different place.
Because I guess you spoke about the risk versus reward thing of in Nazare.
Yeah.
And, what am I getting out of it? But you're clearly getting something out of that with a risk factor.
Yeah, I mean at Molly, that's it. You're potentially gonna get the biggest, best barrel you've ever been in, and I guess when you've got a barrel, you know what it feels like. So like getting bigger and bigger ones feels better. Like so, like. Yeah, it's a weird feeling because like the wave's so tall as well. Sometimes you can't even see like the roof of the barrel. Like it's kind of weird. Like you know, like out here, like you can see the whole thing there. Like on even if you had a GoPro vision, you can see it. Whereas like there's definitely like barrels where you're like you feel like you can see the lip here, but you can't like see the top of it. So it's a weird thing. Like being in barrel.
Does it the bigger the barrel of that is as well, the harder it'll spit you out of it?
Yeah, I suppose like you get some pretty hectic ones at Molly, but then like waves like Riley's, it can be 4 foot and it's just like that'll blow you out of them like crazy when it's not that big, just because it's so heavy. Like just
we've all seen them videos of like the spit coming out, and it comes out like it's mad how fierce it can come out at times.
Oh yeah.
What do you feel that? Does it like getting blown by a jet engine sort of
Yeah,
thing?
literally, like I've had ones at Molly that like it blows and you literally just can't see it, and then like it's just white everywhere and you're just kind of like it's full on feel then like, and it like your face gets all stung, like if you get real like it
like
stings your lips.
Washer.
It literally is like that, like just goes
Fuck
and like you can't see and you're like fuck it. Because the other thing at Molly, some of them will clamp at the end, so you don't like half time it spits. And you're like, oh, I hope this thing doesn't clamp. So then you're like, just holding your line, and then it like clears, and you're still in it, and then you like see it come out into the channel. It's like
just imagine it clamp, like come out as just a headless wetsuit. It's just got you.
You mentioned barrels here. Clearly don't compare to Mully, but when you first came over, what was your expectation? 1 and kind of 2. What was the reality you found?
I suppose like. The expectation, there isn't really an expectation when you come to a pool, especially one you've never seen before.
Yeah.
Like I hadn't seen waves ratting really before we came over. Like we were here for the opening press day a couple of months ago. So yeah, obviously you hear, oh, it's bigger, it's better than whatever. So your expectation is there, but it's just that first wave, and you actually like get the sense of how big and how heavy it is. Like these barrels out here are like proper little heavy slabs, and like I've had a few of my friends come over there recently, and they were like very surprised of how heavy and how slabby like the bigger barrels are, and like some of them were on bodyboards and stuff, and they loved it. Like so,
yeah,
it does have that thing that even when you've got a big barrel in the ocean, like that's still crazy fun.
Do you think maybe I'm a good example? I've never been barreled in the ocean, and it's only maybe 2-3 weeks ago I first started.
Never been barreled in Lost Shore.
I first started doing barrels here, and what I think is great about it, going back to that repetition and things that you can't just guarantee you're going to go practice in the ocean. I was like, well, do you know what? I'm going to go try barrels, but I wasn't trying to get barreled. I was just trying to get comfortable.
Yeah.
So I was going to, game plan, surf in front of it, figure it out, and then just work my way back.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what I've been doing. How do you think that transfers across to the ocean, if at all? Because I don't, without having a point of reference, I've now got a point of reference on this wave. There's a massive buckle in the wave, and I know where I'm trying to position myself from that. I don't know if in the ocean it buckles. I don't know in the ocean what I'm looking for.
But it will still translate because you've learned how to get into a barrel. You learn the stance that you need in the barrel, like especially here because it is quite small. You need to like shape yourself in the right way to fit in it. And
just
that,
like that.
Actually, there's a lot, because there's a lot of people I've said are all in that like traditional stance of like getting themselves in that like position like that, so they're
instead of like sometimes you see people trying to get barreled in the ocean for the first time. It's like head in, like head down, ass up.
Don't know
like,
what you're on about. No idea.
And that's just like in your head. That's how you feel like it's going to work. But with that repetition out here, you can get your body shaped the right way, and that's going to translate directly from when you see it like stand up in the ocean. You're going to have that shape ready to go.
That's strange for you to get that, to do that when you're used to just standing up or sitting on a step ladder in a barrel because it's that high above you. That must be a weird thing though, to go from like having to switch that from going to like barrels where you can stand up into barrels. Actually, if I don't shape my body, I'm just going to get spat on and kicked and flipped and slammed into some concrete.
I find it's so fast. I found, for me anyway, I actually thought my natural slow surfing ability would be beneficial for barrels here, but I found that even I'm too fast for our barrel. But I found I'm always ahead of it, and it's all about that stall. And a single arm drag wasn't enough. I'm like 2 arms in there trying to slow myself down.
I find like out here, like when I was we had loads of surfs out here like a couple of months ago, and I was getting like 2 turns in before the bar, like 2 super quick ones, and I found like that was like dropping me super late into the barrel, so that like you were like, that was how late you needed to be. Yeah. Whereas like when you're not that comfortable, like if you do like a little check turn back into it, it'll set you up, but you still like it shoots you forward. Yeah. So like it's really hard to like get that right timing of like check turning and coming down and setting it up and not being too deep and not getting caught, because it is like super, it goes from like kind of a normal wave into like a super heavy fast section.
It's like a Learner's barrel.
Yeah.
I suppose stalling as well is, you've got a very fine line on that, the speed that's moving as well, is to stall too much or not enough, and you've been out in front of it again. So
I think you can get away with stalling too much. Like, the problem, we're different for us at different abilities. You're obviously wanting to do stuff before you get into the barrel.
I thought you were putting you two at the same ability.
And because I've tried to do smaller turns just to manage my position, but then because I'm doing that, you're trying to throw in 2 turns, and I'm just trying to manage my position with a smaller turn. I'm like, I still have so much time to set up. And I think then it's almost like you've got too much time to overthink it.
You do, yeah.
And all that overthinking time means you're going to fuck it from the off.
For sure. Like, that's it. That's like I said with anything, the more you think about it, the more you will hesitate, the more you'll do everything. Like, so like those things where you don't give yourself enough time to think is when you're going to get the best one.
Do you think about much at all when you're surfing anymore? Like, as in...
I need to get cat food.
No, I just mean as in for the surfing, because not like when you do something so many times and you've got so much repetition of it, you sort of like second nature. Like when you're driving, you just drive, and sometimes you get somewhere and you're like, oh, the fuck did I get here? Which is most of the places I go.
Oh, I'm in a barrel.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like when it's like that much repetition, like when I'm paddling into a wave, I'm thinking like, paddle, stand up, don't drag your foot. I'm thinking all these things that are trying to make that one wave better. Do you still think about it, or is it just natural and you just go?
Like, say if you're like just surfing like a small fun barrel, like I wouldn't really think about much. Like it kind of is that natural. But then like say if you're like getting ready for a contest or like training for a specific thing, you are going through everything. You're like, right, this is where I need to put my body to like do this turn. I need to change it from that last wave. I did something wrong, like that kind of thing.
Does that put more pressure on you as well? Do you find if you could, do you have better surfs when you're not thinking about?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Like the best surfs are the ones you just like you're just like in that flow and you don't think about it. And like so, I've had like surfs at Molly when it's big, and like that's it. You're not thinking about anything, and you've just like. You just go and you just go again until then sometimes you hurt yourself, and that's when you start thinking. That's when you're like, oh fuck, I should have been thinking a bit more about that one.
Will you still go out on I always find it's interesting with pro surfers, like, you know, because some people have the ability to become wave snobs and they'll only go out when it's massive and firing, And some people are like, well, do you know what? I learn a lot if I go surf sloppy, mushy waves. Will you still go out on anything? Like, do you see some of the stuff Logan goes out in? If there's a ripple,
That's what I was gonna say.
he's
I was
out
like,
in it.
I'm pretty keen. Like, I'll go surf pretty much anything.
Yeah.
Like if it's real bad waves, I'll pretty much surf every day if it's surfable. Like,
Yeah.
But like Logan and Pat, those boys are next level. Like,
They'll go on
they're
anything.
like 4 times a day in the worst waves you've ever seen. I'm like, lads, like, I've surfed twice. Like, I'm done. I'm not going to surf that shit again. Like, they're next level.
Logan, like, he raised an interesting point, because I always thought about it for surfers that surf our waves, generally weaker, sloppier waves. Like, I thought it would give you a natural benefit over surfers in the QS that have just on perfect waves all day long, because at least in my head, you're having to work and generate everything most of the time. But as Logan then pointed out to me, he said, but then the problem is you go surf perfect waves and you're constantly pumping and doing things that look like you're not flowing from section to section and stuff. Is that fairly accurate?
Yeah, it is. And I think the best surfers come from places where the waves aren't good, like, but also kind of where there's power, but kind of shit waves at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, you see all the guys from Portugal and France, it's like, could be 2 foot little, like, sucky, sloppy shit waves, but it's still, like, got the power and stuff to give you the speed, and that's how you learn to be real quick with everything.
Yeah.
And I think, like, you just need to surf everything. Like, you need to go from the slop to the closeout to the perfect wave, and that's the only way you're going to be able to, like, kind of combine everything together. Like,
I guess that kind of sums up the QS as well, doesn't it? Because
Yeah.
it's not like the CT, you've got perfect waves on perfect days.
I don't know, CT doesn't get perfect waves all the time either.
True.
Portugal didn't look great there last week.
And where are you at now on competition surfing?
Like right now, I was kind of took a bit of time off from the QS there, kind of from COVID as well. I kind of stopped doing it because of COVID, and then kind of started again, but never really like went fully back into it. I still, like, I'll do the Europeans. Like, I came second at the European Championships there, the last one, the year before last, and like the ISA Worlds for qualifying for the Olympics and stuff. Because I am so competitive, I still like to go compete.
Yeah.
But the problem with the QS is just costs so much money.
Yeah.
And you're like, you travel all around Europe to these waves, spend so much money, surf shit waves, and get nothing out of it. Like, it is, I love competing. If I could afford to do it all, I would. But it's like, I could go take that couple of grand I spent doing that QS to go travel and make a video, and like, you get so much more out of it. And like, that's kind of where it's at for me right now, is that like, I'd rather go do that than do the QS. Except last year, I went to Boardmasters just for the crack, to hang out with the lads, and then ended up coming 5th, and I like kind of got the real bug of like wanting to do the QS again, and I was like, oh fuck, I did pretty good. Like, I was getting like good heats and scores and stuff, and I like really had the bug.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, I'm gonna come to the next one, and then I got injured. I blew my shin open doing an air just as the other ones were about to start, so that kind of put that back. And now this year's ending now. The last QS of the year is next week or something in Portugal, so it's kind of no point in going doing it. So I'm going to do the Europeans again this year, and the ISAs, I think they're in El Salvador. So we'll see how it goes after that, and the QS kind of starts after that again in Boardmasters and throughout Europe. So I don't know, we'll see. Like, I'd love competing because I am so competitive, and like, but it's a tough one. Like,
I think it's a hard one to dip your toe into, because I guess if you're gonna like doing 1 or 2 events, like, clearly it's not enough to score enough to get anywhere, is it?
No.
So you're kind of all in or nothing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like, that was kind of, I did Boardmasters last year just for the crack, like, because I just love going over there and meeting all the boys and like hanging out.
Yeah.
And then that kind of, because I got like 5th, I was like kind of fired up again. Everyone's like, oh, come to the next one, like, you're surfing good, like, you'll do well, like, and then that kind of, but then just the injuries kind of came again. So yeah, I know, we'll see how the Euros and the ISA Worlds go, and we'll go from there.
Who have you got your eyes on, UK and Irish surfers that have got potential to go far?
Pat is pretty close to making the Challenger now. He just needs to do a bit of a result here in Portugal now to get on the Challenger, so that'd be sick. And then like Stan, Logan, Lucas is gonna be mental, like
He's insane,
coming in the next couple of years. And then like there's a kid at home, Josh Carbis.
He's been over recently.
Yeah, he's over here
nice
the other
lad,
day.
yeah.
He's ripping. He's like doing pretty good throughout Europe and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of other kids in Ireland. Like there's way more kids now than when I was surfing. Like our contests used to be straight finals. Now like there's round before quarters. So like there's a lot of potential coming up in the next couple of years.
That's probably because of people like you. It goes back to the point about seeing these other surfers just charging and kids wanting to be like it.
Yeah.
Somebody said to me actually about Josh that I can't remember who it was, but they'd seen Josh. I won't say who it was, but he had seen Josh surf compared to Medina, and he said Josh's air game was next level compared to Medina's.
Yeah, Josh, he's good. He's good at airs, like he's got like that little like flick out real good. So he's gonna be really good, like when he's growing up, and hopefully he can get the back into sport it, because that's gonna be that's the problem. Like you see so many kids that could have been mental, and they just for whatever reason didn't get the back and the sponsorship and stuff. So yeah, hopefully he can get it.
What do you think the answers are for, like, we've always spoken and like we've heard many people saying about there's no support for surfers or like governing bodies, or what would have helped you growing up and coming into surfing? What do you wish was in place that would have helped you?
I think like a bit more like coaching and stuff. Like I guess there's both sides of it. Too much coaching is bad, and not enough coaching is bad. Because I always see a lot of the kids now that they're not going surfing, they're going training, and they're not like. And I was talking to a surfer who was on the CT. He's on the CT, and he was like, "Yeah, it's mad. Like you see, I've training. It's not like, I'm going for a surf."
It's an interesting point, actually. Interesting way to put it.
Never thought that.
No.
Yeah, and it's like you're not like enjoying your surfing. Everything is training. So I think like you need to find that balance. And like for me, everything was surfing. Like I was never training. Like I used to do the odd coaching thing with Joe Surf Solutions and stuff, but other than that, it was just me and my dad. He'd video every session, and like we'd look over it and watch, and like whatever, we'd go think of what we could do, how to change stuff. But
should have gone left on that, right?
Yeah, but it was like it was never you're training today, training. Whereas now it's training is everything. And like you just need to sometimes just want to go just surf. Like
I've not thought of it like that. That's a really interesting point. That kind of is what it's become, I guess. When everyone's just trying to, I guess it's a bit like every kid at school that thinks they're going to go play for Man United sort of thing. Like, I'm going to get signed, and then suddenly your life's falling apart because no one signed you. But I guess as well for the in the industry and brands and stuff, like everybody wants sponsors. Like, what are you doing different to the next person? And the brands, what do they want back? They want content at the minute. I guess just being a good surfer, a really good surfer, isn't enough.
No, now the way with social media is going now, it's like you have to be able to push content, have a personality, all this stuff, and it's way harder. Like, definitely is way harder. Like, I was lucky, I was kind of just before that, and now for me it is social media and stuff, and like it's pretty hard to do that, to like be in front of a camera, talk, and like getting used to that from a young age is pretty mad. Like, what
would you say then, like, so young person out there watching, 13, 14, whatever age they are, and they're thinking, I'm surfing all the time, I want to become a pro surfer. What are the pros and cons? What are the things like that you get, like, these are great of being a pro surfer and this is really shit about being a pro surfer? The things that you don't normally tell people, like, that's the, like, what are the things you like,
spill your guts, come on, let's open up.
I don't think there's anything really shit about being a pro surfer, I'll say that.
Well, even like coming out to talk to people on podcasts and shit like that,
like a lot of the stuff that's pretty hard with like surfing is that because you're traveling and stuff, that you miss quite a lot of stuff at home, and like you're like committed to whatever, you're committed to contests, you're committed to stuff, and you're committed to going surfing. You do miss out on a lot of stuff, which is kind of hard. Like, but then you're also like, well, I'm missing out on fucking hanging out with my friends I could see every day when I'm on the other side of the world. It's like, you don't want to say it's bad, but you still do miss out on that kind of stuff. I'm missing out, but I'm surfing this. Look at this. I know. It's like it. But you do miss, and you're like, oh, fuck, I wish I was there with my friends having fun. Like that. Some stuff you definitely do. Yeah. Especially like even now still, like, my girlfriend's like figuring it out. She's like, oh, like, if there's anything on, there's a swell, like, I'll go. And she's like, how do you, like, you do it? Like, but it's just kind of like,
do it by dates.
yeah. It's really funny. She's like, can we go here this time? I'm like, I don't know.
Can you surf by dates, not swells?
Yeah.
Does she surf?
Nah, she doesn't at all.
Have you never had her underwater?
Oh, I brought her out. I mean, she'll go out in the
Brought
summer.
her out, Molly. Let's go, Foamy's fine.
I bring her out like during the summer. She loves it. Like, she loves being on the beach and stuff. So it's great.
You're not putting her in a lesson here.
It's too cold.
So what about the pros then? What are the pros of being a pro surfer? What's the best parts?
It is the best job in the world. Like, every sport, obviously you love it, but like, I still feel like other jobs, if you're a footballer or professional, whatever sport, you don't like, you'll do it when you're going training and your matches and stuff, but like, there's not many people that are professional that'll just like day in day out, what they want to do is their sport.
I suppose you're not seeing Ronaldo kicking a football about in the back
he's
street.
not,
So using the end of a house as a goal, set a goal
just
post.
going out his back garden doing a bit of keepy up for the crack.
Totally,
like, every pro surfer, all they want to do is surf all day every day, and that allows you to do that. So that's the best. It's the best job in the world for that.
What's the best perks with it?
Perks?
Yeah, what's the best perks that come with being a pro
Monster on
surfer?
tap.
Unlimited cans of Monster. Nah, you get it. Like, just being supported by companies like Rip Curl Monster, like, that is a massive thing. They support me with suits and stuff that saves a lot of money, and like, going on trips with them, like, having access to their stuff, it's crazy. Like, so you do get a lot of perks, like, with all that stuff. You get to go on all these, like, a lot of free trips and stuff, and meet a lot of pretty cool people, like, doing it.
I was gonna say, have you been on a trip yet and just add that, like, what the fuck is going on? I can't believe I'm here sort of moments.
Definitely, like, the first couple of trips I had that, like you go on a trip, you don't take your hand out of your pocket for some stuff. It's mad. Like, if you're on like a corporate trip, like, everything's paid for, and you're like, oh, this is mental. Like, it's kind of mad.
Can I have that?
Yeah, you're like, and they're like, yeah, take whatever. And you're like,
You're filling your pockets as if you still feel like I'm stealing it.
Yeah, like, that kind of stuff is weird, like, to get used to. And then, like, say, like, doing a trip with like Mick Fanning and stuff, like, that kind of stuff is pretty mental. Yeah. And like, sometimes I'm still like, I know so many of the like pros, the CTE guys, I know them like pretty well, and sometimes I still like, I'm like, oh fuck, like, I know these people, like I don't think I'm at, like, I don't think I'm there, but like, I'm still like, oh fuck, they're like full celebrities, and I'm like friends with them. It's kind of, it is like that kind of weird thing that you have to like think about.
I know that weird feeling of like knowing someone famous, and like that thing of, you see how people react to them, and you're like, and then they're just like, yeah, I'm just like a normal guy. Like, yeah, your mate, but like to other people, it's like, oh.
It's funny how you react as well. When we filmed with Ben Gravy down at the Wave, and at the end, like, it was me, you, my mate Sean, and Roger from, I got lad up from up here, and everyone's like, oh, can we individually, can we get a photo with you? And I remember being like, I'm not asking for a photo. I don't want to be that guy. So I think I'm just going to play it cool. And then everyone got the photos, and it kind of finished. And then I was like, I want a photo. Let's get a photo. But again, it's a two-way street though, isn't it? Like, that sounds awesome. And that is awesome. You're getting all that shit for free. That's really cool. But at the same time, the brands are getting a lot out of it. So it's so mutual. They're getting everything they need to out of it. So it's a no-brainer for them to be doing
for sure.
that.
You're working. Like, you're going on trips. You're getting videos. You're creating videos, photos. They're getting all their stuff out of it. So
yeah,
it's mad. And like, that kind of thing, like you're saying there with like photos and stuff, like, I'm with people, like, whatever, if you're with Mick Fanning and like there's people constantly coming up to him and taking photos and stuff, and you're like, oh, that must be horrible. But then I've had so many kids come up and ask for photos with me, and I'm like, oh, it's actually kind of cool. Like, it is, like, that you are like someone that someone looked up to and wants to take photos with. So it's kind of a weird thing.
I always remember Logan. I was a third reference to Logan. We're going to call this the Logan show. But I always remember him saying when he was a Grom, I don't know where he was, but he was walking a beach somewhere in Medina, just happened to be walking up at the same time. In Medina, like, whoever said hello first don't matter, but they literally walked the beach together, and Medina was just telling him loads of things like line-up markers and just really cool things. And he said, you know, as a Grom, like, he will never know how much that meant to Logan at the time. Like, that's a thing for life. Like, somebody that's just getting bombarded with people, he's got the pressures of sponsorship and all that kind of stuff, to take the time out and just give him 5 minutes and talk to him like a person. That's awesome. Yeah, it's a really cool thing to do.
And I think that was
actually Ben Skinner talking about Lucas.
No, it wasn't. It was no, that was a different thing. You stole the $5. It was Logan.
Stole the $5. Yeah, that was it.
I think that is like what like the pro guys prefer. They'd prefer like a kid just come up and talk and be like, what, instead of like full fanning them, like, because they don't think they're a celebrity. Like, well, I don't know, maybe some of them do, but like...
Right, let's stop. Tell us who.
I don't know. All the ones I'm friends with, all the ones I know personally and I'm friends with, that's it. It's like, you prefer, like, they just prefer, like, people come up talking to them like a normal person, and they'll talk to you like a normal person, because they don't think they're this big famous person. Yeah. And like, yeah, it's a weird thing, like that, like, even like for me, if someone came up to me and asked me like, oh, can I get a photo? I feel really weird about it. But then like when they come up and ask you and just talk to you like a normal person, it's like, you don't think about it, because it is, and it's just more normal, like, because that's it. Nobody thinks about themselves.
I said before, I've had that once, and someone ran up to me and went, "Can I take a photo with you?" And I was like,
"No,
yeah, if you want." And she was like, "I bet you get this all the time now, don't you?" And I was like, "No, it's weird." That was it. Yeah. It's just felt so alien and weird. But I can't imagine like being at a competition and like coming out of the water, and there'd just be loads of people there like, "Can you photo with you?"
Yeah, that's a pretty cool thing. Yeah. I didn't think you were like celebrity like at all until you submitted the rider to us telling us that your water bottle had to be between 15 and 17 degrees. Exactly.
Yeah, the air temperature here is a little bit hot. Can we cool it down a bit?
A hint of elderflower in the water.
3 cubes of ice.
Yeah, 3 cubes of ice. I'll only surf competition water at 13 degrees.
Yeah.
And what have you got?
Spit that stuff out.
What have you got coming up for the year?
So now, literally just back from injury, so trying to line up some trips for the summer. Kind of trying to figure it out. Got some things in the works of where I want to go. Yeah. Kind of looking at maybe get a boat trip to the Ments, and try to do maybe somewhere in South America as well. Right. The Ments is busy and stuff, but I have a cool opportunity with the guys at King Millennium over there to do a boat trip. So that's kind of what I'm going to try to do, and then kind of go somewhere in South America and try to find ways that aren't super busy and pretty sick stuff.
That sounds like the dream. Do you get many mad requests for, like, you know, Monster do some cool tricks and stuff like that, and really cool like events? Do you get requests from brands to just, I don't know, do mad shit, like, you know, sort of like the Red Bull, the guy doing the half pipe under a hot air balloon? Do you get them? I'm not saying you're going to do a wave garden under a hot air balloon, but do you get mad requests for things like, what? How am I supposed to do that or not?
I'm trying to think. Not really. Not too much. Like, the maddest things that, like, being, especially with, like, say, a company like Monster, is that, like, you get invited to the maddest things. Yeah. Like, we were, like, me and my girlfriend went, and we were ringside to, like, Bellator, which is, like, the thing under UFC.
Oh, right, okay.
And, like, that, like, doing that stuff is mad. Like, they're just like, do you want to come to that? And you're like, yes, right. And, like, it's mental, like.
Your missus must be like, what the fuck are we going now?
We've gone to so many random things, and she's like, this is so crazy that we're at.
Can we not just go to the museum, like I asked? Somebody else, some UFC event.
We go to some mad random stuff. It's funny.
I did pick up on the new way if you say the Ments, because we've got this thing that everyone that says it different. The mental ways, the mental ways, the mental.
Never heard it said the same way.
Oh yeah, the mental ways.
Mental ways.
What? Ments is the easiest. Don't.
But so, like, out of all these places you've surfed and you want to surf and everything, where is that spot that you've had?
If you can say.
If you can say your favourite, or that session or that surf that you remember
outside of home.
Anywhere.
Outside.
Outside of home,
the one that's just there all the time that you're chasing, sort of thing.
Where we had pretty, you know, like one of the funnest. I think the funnest trip I've ever done was to Nicaragua. Yeah, like that was weird. It was for a Worlds when I was like 16 or whatever, and it was just pumping waves every single day. Like, not big, not crazy, just like pumping waves every single day. And I really want to go back to Nicaragua, so that's kind of not for chasing any big crazy slabs, right, and just like go and have like the craziest fun trip for 10 days. Like,
That's cool.
Well, I'm going to ask you a different one as well, because I take it you've surfed a lot around the UK as well. If you had to go, you're doing a surf trip around the UK, you're going to stop off at 5 spots.
you're gonna get me in trouble.
5 spots.
Only if you can name them.
If you can name them. 5 spots you're stopping at. Where are they going to be in
I'm
the
going to
UK?
assume you can't name any of them.
I don't know. Well, one of them I can't name.
If they're on surf, this is our rule. If they're on Surfline, we're happy to name them. Outside of that, we leave them alone.
If they're not on Surfline, you can just say the area. So if it's Bambra area, or if it's that area.
So in the UK, I really want to go surf Levy. I've never surfed Port Leven. That's one wave I want to go to. And then there's some spots up around like on the East Coast that are sick. They're definitely some of my favorite ones to go to. Like, if there's a swell there, I'll pretty much drop anything and go there. And then you got like Terso is sick, like in Baggies and that. And then there's a couple other slabs up around Terso as well. That would be. I've surfed once or twice a couple of years ago, but like they're on the list of places to go back to like score properly, definitely.
But like Cribber or anything like that.
Cribber, nah. No way am I going to Cribber.
Doesn't barrel, does it, Cribber?
No, like I don't know, like it's a big kind of burgery wave, so like I know like if you're there, it's a sick wave to go surf and that.
If you were there and it was going off, would you surf it?
Oh yeah, I would.
But you're not going for that.
I wouldn't fly over for
No.
it. That's what I'm saying. Because
No,
we have so many other waves at home that like, I'm like, I'm not gonna spend money to go over there. But
So if you're there doing Port Leven and then that just happens to be working as well, which is very unlikely, but you may as well just drive across.
if I was there, I'd go surf if there was swell for sure. Like, it's like it looks super fun, but it's just not one of those things that I'm not gonna fly across the world to go chase. Like,
and what about your? I'm gonna assume you've got probably loads of these to hand, but your worst wipeout or experience in the surf?
It's definitely at Molly. Well, like, worst wipeout or worst experience are definitely two different things, because
we may as well have them both.
For most of us, they're the same.
Worst wipeout would definitely be at Molly. Like, I know what it was. I like was a day we were paddling, not even a tow day, and I'd fell on a wave and my leash broke. And usually if your leash stays on, the board kind of drags you into the channel, but my leash broke straight away, so it left me like right in the impact zone of the next wave. So I came up, the next wave was like right on my head on the slab, landed on me, and it pushed me so deep, and I had no leash to like climb up or anything. So then I was like swimming up, and like it got to a point I was like, alright, I know the next wave is like, it's been a long time, like I know the next wave is going to be pretty close when I get up, like. And then I got up and I literally just got my eyes above the water, and it like the next one nailed me. So I like, it wasn't the wave I fell on, it was the one after that I got 2-wave hold down after that. and then after that I came up, and Taz Knight was on the ski, and he came pick me up, and he was like, fuck, you got held down for 2. I was like, oh, that was crazy. And I was like, it was pretty dazed and stuff, and I was getting on the ski, and he waited right at the end to pick me up, and because I was so dazed, I just got on real slow. The next wave actually caught us on the ski.
Oh shit.
And there's actually a really funny video of Taz riding the wave, does a foot, like big lump of whitewater, just bouncing. I let go of the sled because I knew the wave got us. So I didn't know any of this happened, but I seen the video of Taz like bouncing, does a full 360 on the ski in the whitewater, and then just like rides out of it and like comes into the channel. And I was just sitting there like, at this point I'm like, where'd everyone go? Like, I just had a fucking 3-wave, like the most hectic 3 waves of my life. And then like they came back out and Taz was like, that was so crazy. Everyone was freaking out at Taz, and then they came back and got me. That was the worst wipeout I've had.
So he rode out of it?
He rode out.
So you should have, if you'd hung on, you'd have been fine.
No, because the sled was like going, doing flips. The sled pretty much broke.
Fuck.
But like he was just Taz is such a beast that he just held on to it and just like manhandled the whitewater and just like got the ski back around and then booted it.
So you've gone on that wave. You've gone down on the first one, and the two behind you.
Yeah.
So you've got a 3-wave hold down, basically.
Yeah, well, no, I had a country breast between my one and the next one.
Ah, right, yeah.
And then it was those next two that really destroyed me. And then that was technically like the 4th wave that Taz was riding out on the ski.
Because I don't know if it's Pete or Ben that said you go deep when you get wiped out there.
Yeah, like there's 2 different parts. Like recently, I don't know if you've seen one, like the boys were surfing Molly recently, and one of the boys, Noah Lane, he got really destroyed because he hit the bottom really bad. So like there's a part of it that's real shallow, and that's what makes it slabby.
Yeah.
So, and if you fall after that, you go super deep.
Yeah.
So it's like you're either like it's real shallow and then real deep. It just depends on how you get. I mean, I'd rather get the real deep bit. Because Noah definitely didn't end up good. He broke his pelvis and like split his head open and stuff. So
you get that that feeling. This is what we were talking about the other day, and that feeling of like, imagine if you try and duck dive something that's massive like that. Not that you're going to do it, but like if you get wiped out or something like that, as the water comes over, that instant change in pressure of like, because you're all of a sudden of how
you could be
deep,
20 meters deep immediately.
Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
What's that feel like?
Oh, I don't know. Like it's that like when you get pushed deep, you know you're deep, like because your ears start ringing and stuff. and then you're like, and then you're like start swimming up, and like if you swim up and you do like 1-2 strokes and you're out. Like at Molly, I've had ones where you're like 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're like, fuck, I'm still not getting up.
Do you wear a vest?
If we're towing, I'd wear a pull vest, but when I'm paddling, I kind of prefer not to because it's just too hard to paddle because you've got an impact suit, a 6mm, and then a pull vest. It's just so hard to paddle, move your arms, so I kind of prefer not to when it's paddling.
Never get Louis to pack your vest if you are wearing a vest with Louis.
Why? What did he do?
Well, I'd never wore one before, so when we had Louis on, I tested his vest, and it's obviously got 4 separate pull tabs. And he kind of built it up, so it was like it does get a bit tight. It can get really tight, so I'm expecting to be crushed. So I'm like, I literally, when you build it up in your head, ready to pull the first one, and I'm like, pulled it, nothing happened. He's like, try the next one, and the same happened for all 4. I was like, Louis was off to surf Nazaré like weeks later.
No,
so, mate, I've literally just saved your life. Never get him to pack your shit.
Yeah, well, I don't want to be pulling everything.
And what was the other wave you mentioned as well?
So my worst experience was actually probably my most 2 recent injuries. Like my second recent injury, I like was surfing the peak. It was like 2 foot, and I just was pumping down the line, did an air, and I just like my board flew away or whatever, and I came down and landed on my board, and I was like, oh fuck, that really hurt my shin. And I was like, oh, and then I knocked the fin out and stuff, and I was like, oh, my shin's still like, just felt like I kicked the table really hard.
Yeah.
And then I got to the beach, and I was like, fuck, my shin's really like pulsing, like it won't go away. They usually last for a couple of minutes and stuff. It's like, oh, it's real bad. And I like looked at it, seen a bit of blood, and I was like, oh, maybe there's a cut. And I pulled up, and just like my whole shin bone was like, like literally it was just like my shin was just open like that. And my whole shin, I was just seeing my bone. I was like, oh my fuck. And I put it down.
I was going to say, put it straight back down.
I just put it straight back down and started legging it because obviously I knew I could still walk on it. It wasn't like broken. And I started legging it because in my head I was like, right, getting in the car and I'm driving to the hospital myself. And then luckily Connor was coming down the reef and he was like, what happened? And I was like, oh, I fucked up my shin, like really bad. And he was like, oh really? And he's like, let me have a look. And I showed to him and he was like, oh, it doesn't look too bad, you're all right. He didn't look at the cut at all. Like he was just like, oh, I'll just tell him it's all right.
Yeah.
And then he rang a doctor that lives up the road, and he was like, oh, do you reckon we can bring Gearoid over to you, and like might put a stitch or 2 in his leg, he's like split his shin open a little bit. She was like, yeah, oh sure, I'll come down just to see it just before and we can decide what to do with it. And then I was like, she was like there, and I lifted up my suit and looked away, and all I heard was her go, she was like, oh fuck. And I was like, it's bad, isn't it? And she was like, yeah, that's bad. Like it was like crazy bad, and that was the worst experience I've had in the water for sure.
The second story this week we've got about fins and splitting things open and
something else with their fin and their foot.
So question we ask as well, which I think would be a good one to say. So I don't know, how tall are you?
5'8".
5'8", so...
No, let me do it the new way.
Oh, yeah, go
Yeah,
that way.
right,
Yeah, do that
okay.
way.
I'm just going to... I normally had a whole build-up to this question, but I'm just going to do a very simple version. In feet, how big is a 3-foot wave?
In like actual feet,
An actual feet, how big is a 3-foot wave? Face.
probably 6 foot, really.
And you can see the reason for the question, though.
Yeah.
How big is 3 foot in feet? 6.
Yeah, it's like it's the stupidest thing ever measuring waves, and it just comes from like people like trying to say it's smaller, trying
Bravado.
to be cool.
So,
I think
yeah, but I
don't.
also get that with double when someone says double overhead, because I know people that say double overhead and it'll be like this much overhead, and people double overhead meaning it'll be like double their head height.
You can't go like, I have certain people that I'll trust their report of how big it is, and other people like I'm just like, you'll take it either way with opinion. Like they could be like, oh it's like 4 foot, and it'll be fucking 10 foot. And
Send me
then
a video.
yeah, and then other people will be like, oh yeah, it's 10 foot and it's 4 foot. Like, it's such a weird one. Like
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's pointless.
Yeah,
But
like-
also, because then it kind of gets reversed when you start going to big waves. Like Nazare is a great example because suddenly it becomes actual feet
yeah.
for it. So where's the bravado there? Because suddenly if you're surfing, Cotty's 100-foot wave, well, what are we actually saying is 30 foot? Is that what we're calling it in surf metrics?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
only 30 foot, Cotty.
Yeah.
It wasn't 100.
I know it's just fucking so big it doesn't matter then. And
No,
it's
there's
just
a
like,
point where it's just big and
Yeah.
it does not matter.
it's
I think.
fucking scary.
Well, dude, it's been a pleasure to have you on. If people want to find you, check out your Instagram and stuff, where can they find you?
Pretty much everything is just at Gearoid McDaid. There's not many other people with the name, so
No, probably
I didn't
not.
I didn't have to add 1, 2, 3, 4 at the end of it.
Mate, I can't even pronounce it, so that's what I just say, mate. Cheers.
Cheers,
Cheers,
man.
thank you.
Awesome. Well, cheers for that, G, man. I think we could all agree, absolute charger, and me and Pete will never be at that level.
Yeah, I especially like my start to that episode. That was my proudest moment.
Yes, I know you were chuffed with that. I feel like you've been sitting on that one for, literally since you thought of. I feel like you thought of that before you thought of the podcast, and you were just waiting for the right moment.
Do you know what? In all honesty, it wasn't. I just sat there, and like, all of a sudden, it just popped into my head. Like, like there's 3 of us, like English, Irish, and Scottish, or Scottish,
you got it
English,
the
and
wrong way
Irish,
round,
or Irish,
but yeah.
Scottish, and English. However you want to say it.
You were in Scotland, so it's always Scotland first. But yeah, no, it was super
I know,
fun
that's
actually. It was nice to just sit down and properly chat with you, man. And do you know what? Somebody else said to me, I didn't really think of it. I don't know if it was another guest we had but somebody pointed out that when do you just get to sit down and chat to people? Like I think in this day and age, with social media and phones and all this stuff, like you might be in somebody else's company presence, but everyone's always distracted by their phone. Like you just don't get the chance to do that, do you? And sit and chat to people and just see what they're about and what's been going on properly. I quite like that about the show, that we do that with people, even when it gets tiring towards the back end of the weeks. But it's super cool we get to do that.
Sorry, mate. What was that? I was on my phone.
Yeah, again.
It's cool. It's one of the things I really like about it. It's the sitting down and chatting to people, and I think I'm still not 100% easy, like when being on video and being on camera. I know we've spoke about it before, when we do, like you say, do videos for social media that I'm shite at, and you just seem like natural at it. But it is a weird thing, and the amount of people in the podcast that we speak to as well who are like, oh, I was so nervous before about being on camera and everything. But when you're talking with someone, you relax and you forget the camera and the microphones are there more or less when you're in a good flow of conversation. But I still can't bring myself to do that thing where I'm like holding the camera and walking around talking to the camera going, hello. I just feel like a dick.
Oh, you'll always look like a dick, but no. So G-Man was
especially when I'm shredding Lost Shore.
Yeah, well, let's say you can come back to that, but G-Man was absolutely epic. Amazing to kind of get into a conversation and find a point of what would you call it? Like something we can all agree on and be like, oh no, fuck Nazare. You won't want to surf Nazare. That's just stupid. You've got to have a screw loose to surf that sort of thing. And then for it to be like, no, but if I was there and somebody was like, I'll take you out, I would surf it. Like, yeah, right. No, we're very different. We are definitely very different.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, like I said, like I'd love to like go out and just like look at those things. Like, but I know you always say no, fuck that. But I would love to just go out on a jet ski. That's the second person now. Ben Larg and G-Man have both said, well, I'll take you on a jet ski and you can have a look at it. But I got a feeling with both of them they'd be like that. Yeah, go on. You may as well have one while you're here.
Oh, and
I'll be
I
like,
would encourage you to do so, Pete, as well. I would
yeah,
encourage
I
it.
know you would. Hey, what levels have I surfed now at Lost Shore? Well, I'm going straight onto that because
Whoa.
I'm still buzzing about it.
Well, you've done tons.
Yeah.
And now you are a turbo turns warrior, which is
Turbo
maneuvers.
Turns Warrior.
For anyone that doesn't get that reference, we refer to turns as turns, maneuvers as turbo turns, high performance is hyper turns, barrels is low turns or no turns, low to no turns.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Well, I can't believe, like you said to me, that maneuvers, the last part of maneuvers that it steps up to is the first part of barrels, because I was thinking it was leading me into a false sense of security, because now you said that, I was like, oh, maybe I could try barrels now then on a fucking 7.6 bloody foamy. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of the beauty of that wave, is that you can surf it comfortably. Like, you don't have to be trying to get super deep. You can just surf in front of it and slow down, work your way back into it, just get comfortable on the wave.
I mean, so like anyone that hasn't seen on social media, I went up to Lost Shore to do all these recordings, and then I came home, and then about 2 or 3 weeks later I had to go back up to Lost Shore because Mr. Ben Gravy came across, and he's been all over our social media and his social media, and we had to do some stuff with him. And I think that session where we were on turns, you, Ben, me, Spence was there. Who else was on the session? Ethan was in the water as well, taking photos and video. And that was, I think that was my most fun surf session. It's up there with one of the most fun surf sessions I've ever had, I think. Just because we were all laughing, taking the piss, swapping boards. I was trying to kill Ben Gravy.
It's true.
You know, and I said to him on turns, like, I think it's like the second part of it, like the fourth wave or the fifth wave barrels, doesn't it, on turns? Right, and I was like, you could get this barrel, and no one's like, I don't think anyone's been in that barrel yet. They might have been, but I wasn't sure.
Plenty of people have been in that barrel. Ethan's always in that barrel.
Well, I said to him, just making up shit. So anyway, he got straight in it, obviously, and that was brilliant. And yeah, then I was trying to get in it, and I stomped on the back of the board so hard to try and stall it. I came out of the wave, and then you and Ethan were at the other end cheering, and I was like, was I in it? I don't know what happened.
Yeah, no.
It's just such a mental day.
You do it. I watched you tuck into it. Don't think you were in it, but you'd done everything that you should have. The wave just didn't produce. But I've not seen the video back, in fairness, as well. So
yeah. Do you know what, man? That was like that session then. It's that thing of like, you know, like we were talking to G-Man and he was saying about, you know, like pushing you on and stuff like that. It's that sort of thing of like, you know, oh, if I was there, I'd just try it anyway. And because I was there in that, I was on that shorter board of you had, which was the 7, like the mid-length, bloody foamy, hard foamy, whatever it's called, the Slayer. And I was on that, and I quite like it. It moves around quite a bit as well. And I was on that 7.6 mid-length, and the whole atmosphere was just making me like, oh, try and turn a bit harder, try and do this a bit harder, try and stall a bit longer, you know. And it's not. I don't think I'd want to say it's like a trying to show off, but it's not a trying to show off. It's really difficult to explain. It's like people there egging you on, and like the banter and the camaraderie and the piss taking, and but it's making you perform better and try stuff that you're not used to doing, which is like, I think, well, you see smaller kids like that go with big wave surfers. Like you look at Ben Larg, like 14, doing big waves and going, oh, what is that not normal? Because like he's grown up around that sort of stuff. Yeah, and I think that's what's happening. You know, the more you're around those types of people who it's just perfectly normal to do shit like that. Yeah. The more it becomes your normal as well. And it was, I don't know, it was such a good session, and I got so much out of it. And then, as I say, on to manoeuvres after that. It was just that scared the shit out of me though. That step up from, I think it goes, as you said, like it starts on the top part of turns.
Yeah, it's M4 slow. Yeah.
Yeah, so it starts on the end of turns, and then that ramp up is like, I'd explain it, from being in an ocean on a nice 3 to 4 foot mellow day, and then it go into a 6 to 8 foot gnarly day all of a sudden, and you go like, fuck, what just happened?
Yeah, it's basically a bigger, punchier version of the same waves. It goes from M4 slow to T1, T2 then being... sorry, does it go to T1? Yeah, it goes to T1 then. I think it goes to B2. So yeah, and that's a bigger. The manoeuvres is just bigger, punchier version of turns, but it is bigger and punchier. And I've found myself saying this loads recently. I still think, in fact, I had a really good conversation with a listener of the show yesterday who came and introduced himself, and I was saying about, if you
what
just
was his
want
name? I know you're shit with names.
Charlie Sheen. So if you just want to learn to do turns and you want to refine your turns is absolutely the way to do it on. The name should give that away. But it really is, because if your technique's not very good, you're either going to fall off the back or you're not going to complete the turn. So it's going to make you, it's instant feedback, right? But if you do manoeuvres, then the wave is punchy enough and powerful enough to push you through a crap turn and give you a false sense of, oh my God, I just done that. Did you really do it, or did the wave do it? And it just pushed you through.
Yeah.
So if you are trying to progress, it's turns. But if you've got mates on the beach and they've never seen you surf, it's manoeuvres, because you'll look so much better than you were. And honestly,
that turn session is so fun. It was the most fun, and to the point where I said I've always loved wave gardens and everything like that. I've never said anything about it, Well, I think so I've done I worked out 14 sessions at Lost Shore now, and it has given me the bug for wave gardens to the point that I can't physically travel up to Lost Shore all the time. Yeah. So I may have spoke to JB on the phone earlier, and we may be doing Advanced Plus on at the Wave on Monday evening.
Nice.
So tomorrow evening when this comes out.
Oh, perfect. Oh, that'd be fun, man. We're looking forward to hearing how you get on.
Yeah, so I've been really thinking about it recently, because I've always been I just don't get it. I don't get the whole wave garden thing. I just I do get it, but I don't get it. And now I'm in my opinion, what I think now is I do get it, as in, it's not the ocean. It's not supposed to be the ocean. It's supposed to be a practice wave to learn to surf and learn to hone your skills that you can then take into the ocean if you get them better. And the amount that I've surfed at Lost Shore, and I've been right, I felt like I got back to where I was, and now I've passed that as well.
Also,
so yeah, it's just
it's just for fun. It doesn't have to be for any of that.
That's what I mean.
It's just for fun. I mean, how given the distance as well, and you surf, surf for years, how accessible has it made it for you? It's made surfing accessible. You've said in the space of a few sessions, a handful of sessions, you've got back to where you were a few years ago when you were surfing the most and at your best, and you got back to that like that. That's what it's given. That's what it's doing, and that's an amazing thing. It's never meant to replace the ocean. Nobody's ever said that, and I think you've always had a thing about that, and maybe people just have that in their head, and that's absolutely fine.
Maybe I'm just protective over my friend, the ocean. Still trying to replace my friend.
Yeah, that's definitely not the case. But you surfed that really well. You surfed manoeuvres really well, and I was sort of like, oh God, he's going to get battered, and he's going to hate it, and. But there was a point, I think the first 3 or 4 waves when you're still trying to figure it out, because also I think the first time we done turbo turns was it was 9 o'clock in the morning, and I was telling you to fuck off because you had a camera in my face, and I'd just woken up and I was super tired. Hadn't had my coffee. Your first 4 waves, it is super punchy, and it's different. And I think you stoofed the first 4 in, and I didn't tell you, I was leaving it to this, but remember there's a lot of Spanish dudes in the water with us.
Yeah.
I think on your 3rd or 4th wave, I think it was the last one before you'd figured it out. I remember one of the guys, I think you must have creamed the takeoff. And because it was the last wave, I think you paddled across, which for me, I think that makes sense if there's nobody coming behind you.
Yeah.
But I remember looking round and I saw one of the Spanish dudes looking at you, and he just went, this guy straight at you, and I was like, yeah, Pete in the lineup. Pete's in the lineup.
That is the thing. It's like one of those things I understand, like that people can get pissy about because you're paying to surf, and you want to get the most out of your money. But some people, I don't know. I think some people in the lineup do take the piss a bit. Like there's people that, like, I don't know if they just do not listen to the instructions at the beginning, because the amount of times I've seen people come off the wave and instead of taking the white water in a bit and then starting to come across, they'll just, like, there was a couple of times when we were all surfing, and actually Ben did it to me as well, and he came off in that middle section and I was coming towards him and he was like, sorry, and I was like, yeah, but I did the same thing. I came off, there's like a no man's land in the middle. If you come off the wave there, in all fairness, he came off the wave because he was trying some stupid back air reverse double flip round twist over whatever it was, and I came off the wave because I'm shit. But it still came off in a similar place. Yeah. But you're in a no man's land, and you're like, I can't get they're closer to the white water. So you're like, if I go that way, they're going to come into me, and I'm trying to go the other way to get out of the way. So you don't know where to go, and
it's also too shallow to dive out the way, like to duck dive, get out of the surface way.
Shallow.
The rips pulling you across. It is no man's land is a great expression for it. I've started using that as well.
Yeah, and it was the manoeuvres as well where I tried to turn and I tried to do a whapa, but I went whapa, but the board didn't whapa with me, and I just ended up like spinning, facing back out to like where you guys were, ready to take off out the back, and landing my knees on the floor, both knees at the same time. But it was one of those, when you hit the floor and you like bounce like that, and it was off my knees, and I was like, like instant like pain. yeah, that was not a fun bit. But mate, it's given me such a love of like being in Lost Shore, such a love of wave pools that I don't know. I like that now. I just want to go and just practice and just, sell a kidney and go and surf wave pools all the time.
Yeah, totally. Well, that's the infectious nature of what it's doing. So, I guess we've rambled on enough.
Yeah, probably, haven't we? As you know, like it's great to hang out with G-Man, and he watching him surf like airs and barrels and shit like that. It's just like
straight up weapon.
Just another level. And go and check out his Instagram and see what he's about. Before we go, don't forget, if you want 10% off at Surface Wetsuits, use the discount code UKSURFSHOW24. And also, if you want 10% off at Cookville Clothing, use the discount code UKSURFSHOW10.
And if you want 15% off surf and or accommodation at Lost Shore, use the discount code UKSURFSHOW for accommodation. No, you do need to send an email to info@lostshore.com just to get your discount added to it. But for surfs, that will just straight up work on the website. And if you want to get 10% off at TK, use the discount code UKSURFPOD, and that'll get you 10% off anything except boards.
Yeah, 10% off at Tiki, not like 15%, like you said on the last episode.
Did I? There's too many codes.
There's too many codes. There is. We should just have them somewhere, and people can say, "What's the codes?" And we can just send them to them.
They pop up on the feed on Facebook, so they pop up every 5 minutes. There's a fresh one.
So we got loads of video to overlay of different things when they're coming up soon, and we've just got. I think we got quite a lot of video of us surfing. I'm still waiting for my drone footage of me surfing, which you promised me 17,000 weeks ago. Wow. But hey ho, it's not like you've got a busy job or schedule or anything.
Definitely not. No. If you have if you've got this far into the YouTube video, you'll spot that I'm out of focus. But the pleasurable part of that is that Pete's beautiful, massive head is in focus. So hope you enjoyed.
Nice. All right then, cheers guys, and we will see you next time. I don't know why I've started clapping at the end, but this is what happens now. Hey ho, let's go.
Bye.